Peace. This is A&B, African Man Born on the Culture Speaks, a true hip hop podcast for those who live it. Let's get into it.
I am hip-hop culture, predator the vultures. Rappers getting high, spitting lines, I be sober. Never need an entourage, Pando who holds us down when I come around. Massachusetts soul child, say me in your masu. Knowledge will surpass you. Silly rap crews, walking shady as they move. I am the God man, I be living in the proof. I be teaching all the youth on the elements they use. Turn the television off, all the government is plotting on our sons, and we disrespect our daughters as we living in the slums, and we stay.
Peace. This is A&B, African Man Born on the Culture Speaks, a true hip hop podcast for those who live it.
Make decisions like a grown man and plan my future up for the unity to take it over. Gather everyone. This is who I am as I'm representing hip hop. I will take a stand while I'm representing hip hop. Gotta be my best as I'm representing hip hop. God in the flesh as I'm representing hip hop. This is who I am as I'm representing hip hop. I will take a stand while I'm representing hip hop. Gotta be my best as I'm representing hip hop. God in the flesh as I'm representing hip hop.
Peace. This is A&B, African Man Born on the Culture Speaks, a true hip hop podcast for those who live it. All right, so I wanted to touch base with this Olympic shit, especially with in July into August we have the Olympics, and they brought in hip hop element, which is breakdancing. All right, for those who know what hip hop is. If you don't know what hip hop is, then that's on you. But like, if you know what hip hop is, you know that breakdancing is a key component and element of the original 4 elements. For those who even know that hip hop has 4 to 5 elements, you understand it. For those who act like they don't know, you know you're just trying to conceal the truth. And then you have those that just don't know. So this is for those who don't know. And I wanted to mention this episode, which is episode 9 of The Culture Speaks. We're talking about Rachel Gunn. Alright? Rachel Gunn is an Australian breakdancer, you know what I'm saying, professor that was entered in the Olympic contest. She did not score a point. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what qualified her to be in the Olympics. So we're going to talk about certain things about Rachel Gunn on this episode, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are probably going to be pissed off depending on what they support, who they support, what race they support, and all this other shit. But the Culture Speaks gives you the unapologetic truth. So therefore, we're talking about Rachel Gunn on the Culture Speaks. This is also a part of Culture Vultures. The last episode, I talked to you about the music industry gatekeepers, because I think it's important to know that there are gatekeepers in the music industry, which is why certain music does not come out. You know what I'm saying? But there's also specific about the whole association with the Puff Daddy situation. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, and the whole, system, right? And then even mentioning about Kendrick Lamar and his beef with Drake, but his beef with Drake is bigger than Drake. Drake is a nobody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that I'm saying that as when you're in a war, Drake is just the fall guy. He's the pawn. He's a nobody compared to who we're actually fighting. You know what I'm saying? So Rachel Gunn fits into that role too. She is a nobody, but she falls into that industry of people that control things just to fit a narrative. You know what I'm saying? And she played herself. So we're going to talk about Rachel Gunn when we come back on The Culture Speaks. Peace.
My name is Rachel Gunn, but my main peeps know me as Ray Gunn. I think what people don't understand about breaking is that it's not just a dance, it's not just a sport, it's a lifestyle. When you're a big girl like me, there's no days off. One minute I might be making a sandwich, and the next time I'm hitting the sprinkler, or I'm rolling around on the floor. It just comes over me. I have a PhD in dance culture, so legally that makes me good at it. good at dance. Breaking represents life. So, for example, when I hit my signature kangaroo move, kangaroo, Australia, ray gun, a lot of people miss that. I'm actually a professor and I teach about the cultural politics of breakdancing. And breaking was invented by African American teens in New York City in the 1970s. So I thought, who better to represent that culture than me? Ray gun. People are saying I was appropriating dance culture because I'm a white woman. But here's the thing, when you've already decolonized dance, as I have done, you can't then recolonize it. It cancels out.
Welcome back to the Culture Speaks, a true hip hop podcast for those who live it. That was a spoof video from Kaz the Rock Wilson on TikTok. You can check her out. All right, she was pretty much making fun of Ray Gun. She looked like her too. That's a funny shit. I'm gonna show you some clips from Ray Gun. It just amazes me how people don't pay attention to the culture appropriation and then the foolishness of allowing this woman. See, we don't dislike culture appropriation for the sake of you being a white woman or a Asian woman or somebody. No, we dislike you because you're culturally appropriating something that and have no respect for it, and then you get put on a pedestal like you're the top of that class. You should have been ignored. You shouldn't even made the Olympic team. But there's speculation, and I'm gonna show you a clip of that there was a conspiracy to put you in that so you can represent Australia because of your husband and because of the president of the Olympic Association in Australia, who was defending you and said that you're the best breakdancer that Australia has.
I love Rachel, and I think that what has occurred on social media with trolls and keyboard warriors and taking those comments and giving them airtime has been really disappointing. She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia.
Because from what we've been hearing, there was money being taken from the underprivileged to put to you so you can go to the Olympics and make a complete fool of yourself. See, and these are the things that happens, especially when it comes to hip hop, that we have to start speaking up against. There is no way that she is the best breakdancer that Australia has on that continent. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this woman, she makes a mockery of it because it's hilarious, honestly. Like, you know, because this is how, honestly, the ridiculous things that she said in the video to make fun of Ray Gun, representing Ray Gun as the spoof. This is how some of these people feel at times. They be sitting there like, well, I got a PhD in it, so I'm legally am good at it. No, there's no such thing as legally good at anything. You know what I'm saying? You just can do it or you can't. You're either good at some shit or you can't. You can't just be whack at something and then be legally good at it because you got a degree in it. You know what I mean?
Australian breakdancer Rachel Gunn, aka Ray Gunn, has hit back at her social media trolls after her Olympic routine. Unfortunately for Ray Gunn, she didn't impress the judges, receiving 0 points for her routine, and has already been cut for the 2028 Olympics by Olympic chiefs. But her routine has also become the centre of a lot of jokes on social media, which she has now responded to by saying, "Don't be afraid to be different, go out there and represent yourself. You never know where that's going to take you." Australia's Olympic chief has also voiced her opinion and blamed the criticism Ray Gunn has received on sexism by comparing the criticism, belittlement and judgment women athletes face to the abuse they've received in the...
Like when I was watching a video where this dude, his name was Chop Shaw, white dude. White people always put themselves as like it's not all of y'all, but it's a lot of y'all that want entitlement. Why do you always have to say you're a master of something so stupid like cutting a fucking coconut? know what I'm saying? There's a video of that shit where the dude is, the same master coconut cutter, Chop Shard. This nigga took like 8 to 10 swipes before the coconut was even open enough to drink from it. Right? And then they show the Trinidadian dude, and he takes the damn coconut like this, takes that machete, chops it one time, the shit comes off, this dude's able to drink from the coconut. This is how stupid entitlement is, and this is where a lot of white folks do this. People say, well, black people do it too, and I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not saying that we don't. But the ones who showing their ass all the time, and this has been going on since fucking before Jim Crow, you know what I'm saying? Is y'all going up here saying you're the masters of this, you're the best at this. You try to rename braids that we already had way back. You try to rename cultures that we already had. Jamaican style chicken when it's called curry chicken, right? Southern soul food, bistro. You know what I'm saying? We just call it soul food. You know what I'm saying? Y'all always do it, even with rap. Y'all think that Eminem is the GOAT just because he's white and can rap good. Yes, Eminem is a dope MC. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that feel he's not. I think he's dope. I think he has skills. I think the dude is dope in his own right. You know what I'm saying? Do I think that he's the greatest of all time? I honestly don't, but that doesn't come from hate. Because like I said, I think Eminem has a dope lyricist. Is he relatable to me? No. You know what I'm saying? But he has some records that I like. You know what I'm saying? He has the Stand joint. He has the Lose Yourself joint. He has the White America joint that he did on, you know what I mean? He had what's the shit? Role Model on his first joint. You know what I mean? He has a couple of different songs. You know what I mean? Is he over the edge? Absolutely. But I like over the edge lyricism. You know what I'm saying? No matter where it comes from. You know what I mean? So is Eminem a lyricist? Yes. Is he a dope MC? Yes. He can out rap a lot of people. Do I think that he is the greatest of all time? No. My greatest of all time is NAS, Nas, right? And there's people that disagree with that. Respectfully, that's cool. You can disagree with it, it's fine. One of my GOATs is LL Cool J, Rakim, KRS-One, right? I would never put Eminem over those guys, even though Eminem respects those guys. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Ray Gun, right? The difference between a Ray Gun and an Eminem respects the culture, at least enough to give props to the people that superseded him, that came before him and paved the way for him to be the multi-millionaire artist that he is. Greatest selling rap artist of all time, right? That's where people get stuck on the GOAT part. You know what I mean? We didn't say Michael Jackson's the GOAT of music because he sold more, even though that was an incentive. We said that because he affected everyone with his music. He affected masses of people, from black people, white people, all this other stuff. That's what makes you the GOAT. We say Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Respectively, a lot of this generation says LeBron is the GOAT because of who he affected, masses of people, not just blacks, but whites and all that. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about the greatest of all time, it rarely has anything to do with necessarily their skill. It has to do with how much they affected the people with that skill that they have. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali, he lost fights, but we call him the GOAT. Why? You know, he didn't lose more fights than he won. He won way more fights than he lost. But we call him the greatest of all time because of his effect on the people. That's what makes you the GOAT. You see what I'm saying? Not just what you do on the craft that you're on. The craft engineers people to know you, but it's what you do that affects the people that makes you the GOAT. You see what I'm saying? So with Ray Gun, I don't know what the hell she was on when she did that. I mean, she's probably the fucking worst of all time. I think that was the dumbest display of breakdance, and I'm gonna show you some stuff. All right, I'll be right back.
Real breakdancers launching an investigation into Rachel Ray Gun, and yes, honey, they got a Change.org petition. Yes, a Change.org petition. So the petition says hold Ray Gun, Rachel Gunn, and Ann Mears accountable for unethical conduct in Olympic selection. Yes, honey, they getting real specific. I'm gonna read the whole thing to you, but you can pause to read it. Actually, I might read it to you because it is juicy. So the petition starts out and says, we, the undersigned, call for the immediate accountability and transparency in the recent action of Rachel Gunn and Ann Mears in the selection process for Australia's female breakdancer representative at the upcoming Olympics. Rachel Gunn, who set up her own governing body for breakdancing, has manipulated the selection process to her own advantage. I remember earlier, we said that Rachel and her husband had set up the Australian Breaking Association, which was the governing body that got her qualified for the Olympics. The Change.org petition goes on to say, despite the clear talent and qualifications of other outstanding female breakdancers, and they list their names here, a group of incredible, talented, and underprivileged youth in the Northern Territory were denied crucial funding by Dr. Gunn to attend qualifiers, decision that directly impacted their chances to showcase their skills on a national stage. Disturbingly, Dr. Gunn, or Rachel Gunn, went on to win her own qualifiers, defeating other phenomenal breakdancers, raising serious questions about the fairness and integrity in the process. If Dr. Gunn's husband is indeed the Australian coach and part of the selection process, this represents a blatant conflict of interest that cannot go unchecked. The Change.org petition also showed a couple of screenshots with receipts, honey. Now, the first screenshots come from this page called Us Breaking. And the reason why I'm showing you this particular section is because it's from October of 2023. And in those receipts that Change.org petition shows, this receipt right here was deleted. Now, in this receipt, it shows that the competition registration had closed well before individuals were able to qualify. In the caption, it says that on October 28th of 2023, 2 days, the doors open at 11:30 a.m. It said watch top 8 of the best Oceania clash head-to-head to battle to see their crown. And this was for them to be able to hit those qualifiers for the Olympics. Now the receipt asked, hey Osprey, how come you guys announced the qualifying event and registration was already closed? Now they go on to say, and then the registration was opened up for 5 days only, 11 days before the event. I smell a scam. Now, after Osprey got caught sneaking around pretending to post registration when they knew it was closed, they posted this statement in their IG story about 18 hours ago. Cause them kids on yo ass. It said Osprey celebrates all the athletes who participated in the 2024 Olympic Games. These games marked the debut of breaking as an official Olympic sport, a sport that prides itself in being inclusive, blah, blah, blah. Now they get into the details of qualification. They said the selection process for Australia breaking team headed to Paris was conducted over 2 days. Oh, that's interesting. I thought it was 5. 2 days and open to all interested participants in the oceanic area, adhering to the World Dance Sport Federation regulations, which align with the IOC standards and process aimed to ensure fair and transparent outcome. Now, the statement goes on to say that basically they had 9 international adjudicators, a head judge, a chairperson who oversaw the competition using the same judging system at the Paris Games and trained to uphold the highest standards of impartiality. Judges are all highly respected in their respective communities and in the international breaking scene. If that's so, then who are they? Because people are suspecting that one of those judges was Ray Gunn's husband, who's seen in the breaking world as highly respected and quote-unquote well-trained. Now they made this final statement and basically said ultimately Rachel and Jeff Dunn, the other person who qualified for her team, were the top performers in exactly the same process, securing the spots to represent Australia in Paris. This selection process was based solely on their performance and their battles on that day. They finished out their statement to say that Ray Gunn used her platform, the Australian breaking representative, to consistently advocate in the media for breaking history, artistic and athletic values, and cultural origins. Man, bump all of that. They come in for Rachel and they want to know exactly who those judges are, why the competition days were shortened, why when tryouts were open, it was already closed.
That information was brought to you by Nosy by Slander on TikTok. So you can check her out. She gave a lot of good information. If you want to learn what she said about that whole situation, go right back and rewind the video, and then you can check her TikTok out. She got a lot of good content. And I'm saying this all to say that when it comes to hip hop, especially now that it's almost 50 years old, it's not 50. The people, the public blew that one. So the music industry doesn't know when hip hop started. Music industry, there's no shit. But hip hop is almost 50. It'll be 50 on November 12th. All right. When we're talking about breaking and the best break dancers, it is clear that they adjusted, finagled, did certain shit, to benefit themselves and made it about themselves, and they're the top 2 performers from Australia that hits the Olympics? Conspiracy? I think not. That's a fact. And what happens with that is it's a part of destroying the culture within their culture. You can't destroy hip-hop culture. It's always going to be. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is that, the Olympic Committee, of course, is going to allow it because the Olympic Committee is not the color of brown. Anytime you see some shit like this, it's definitely like the complexion for protection hits first. You know what I'm saying? And then she doesn't win a point in the whole competition. Terrible. The girl that she lost to wasn't all that great neither. But this is what happens when you have people that misrepresent your culture or our culture in something that they have no business being involved in. You're talking about your professor. How are you a professor of cultural or ethnic dancing and all that, and you can't even replicate what you're teaching? Therefore, your teaching is non-valid. But these are the things that we keep allowing in our culture. We have to stop letting these people appropriate our culture. We got to start stepping up and stomping on their necks with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to conclude this on the next segment. But I'm going to show you some more stuff. All right? Peace.
Petition against Rachel Gunn, the Olympic breakdancer in Australia, who many are saying needs to be held accountable for unethical conduct in choosing herself to be on the Australian Olympic breakdancing team. The petition already has over 26,000 signatures, and it alleges that Rachel manipulated the selection process in her favor. Apparently, Gunn denied crucial funding to underprivileged kids so that they couldn't make it to the competition to get into the Olympics. And it questions the fairness and integrity of the process, considering Gunn's own husband was a part of the panel that chose who would get to go to the Olympics. I'm going to read what the petition demands verbatim. We demand a public apology from Rachel Gunn and Anna Mears for misleading the Australian public and attempting to gaslight the public and undermining the efforts of genuine athletes. We also call for a full investigation into the selection process, an audit of Dr. Gunn's business dealings, and a global public apology to the breaking community for the unethical behavior that has tainted the sport. This scandal is blowing up, and I need to know, are you going to sign the petition or should we leave Rachel Gunn alone?
What you saw there was more evidence that there was some tampering of the Olympic Committee. So it's funny. Before I conclude this, I'm gonna replay what I played from the woman from the Olympic Committee on what she said, and then I'm gonna react to that, and then I'm gonna conclude this episode of the Culture Speaks. So let me play that for you.
I appreciate the positivity, and I'm glad I was able to bring some joy into your lives. I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. I'd really like to ask the press to please stop harassing my family, my friends, and the broader street dance community. I did take it very seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics, and I gave my all, truly.
I love Rachel, and I think that what has occurred on social media with trolls and keyboard warriors and taking those comments and giving them airtime has been really disappointing. She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia.
Australia's Olympic chief has also voiced her opinion and blamed the criticism Ray Gunn has received on sexism by comparing the criticism, belittlement and judgment women athletes face to the abuse they've received in the past.
What you just watched was 3 videos that displayed bullshit. And what I mean by bullshit is that Rachel Gunn said she worked hard to get to the Olympics and all this other shit, but there's too many factors here. It is a fact that your husband was on the committee that influenced you to be picked for the Olympics. 2, the statement that the president of the Olympic Committee in Australia, that shit, where you said that it's due to sexism because this is the same scrutiny that women athletes face. Cut it out. y'all decided to put that woman in there, and you stole from underprivileged competitors and children, potential Olympic gold medalists. You know what I mean? Potentials that really deserve the opportunity, but you want to blame this whole backlash on sexism. First of all, you made the culture look foolish. You made yourself look like a fool, and you made the culture look bad by you being in the Olympics. Then you talking about you worked hard. You didn't do anything. There was nothing hip hop about what you did. Nothing. Then you go and say, oh, well, you know, the scrutiny, I take it to heart. You took it to heart because you suck at it. I don't understand why whack artists and whack dancers and whack singers and whack everything always gets mad when they get called out for being whack. Don't go outside then. You know what I mean? And then when you go and you do the like I said, the Olympic president or the president of the Olympic Committee in Australia, she's obviously your friend, and she says that you're the best. I bet you if I go to Australia right now and I've seen some breakdancers, there's way better breakdancers than Rachel Gunn. All right? So let's not fool ourselves and talk about, oh, I worked hard. You can sit there and almost cry. Crocodile tears don't work for me. That shit don't work for me. You did that to gain some type of fame off of something that you don't deserve any credit for. And the president of the Olympic Committee should be investigated and thrown off the bench for saying the shit that she says and trying to make it about feminism at the end of the day. Or the scrutiny of women face in sports. I don't understand that shit because y'all always the ones complaining. You're the only ones that talk about women's scrutiny. It be white women that come out here and do shit like that. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of talented white women in sports. But if you suck, you suck. Come on now. If a man came out and did that shit, you would be saying, well, men get discriminated because, no, we don't do that shit. And honestly, yes, it is a man's fucking society in some aspects, but come on now. Don't use the feminism and say, oh, well, women's sports has been scrutinized. And first of all, you get scrutinized because a lot of shit is boring, to be honest with you. But there are some good points of women's sports. Like, I think, like the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark rivalry, that's a good thing for sports. I think it is. It's just like when Tom Brady and Peyton Manning went against each other for many years in the NFL. You know what I mean? Joe Montana versus fucking Phil Simms and fucking, John Elway versus. That's great for sports. Michael Jordan versus Isaiah Thomas. That's great for sports. You know what I'm saying? So now that women are getting into the arena and being famous for it, it's a great thing. But don't say that we're stopping you from doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people that said that Rachel Gunn sucks is females. Let's just be honest. A lot of people that's talking about Rachel Gunn, the people that I showed you that exposing Rachel Gunn are women. You know what I'm saying? Not men. We talk shit about it, but it's the women that's exposing it because women hate to see other women do bullshit and then and get credit for it. You know what I'm saying? So let's not say that, oh, this is the scrutiny that women's sports get. Get the fuck out of here with that. She sucks. She was rolling on the floor sideways. She did a bunny hop, a kangaroo hop, whatever the fuck that shit was. She was rolling her elbows on the ground like she was sweeping the floor. She was fucking, so some other shit she did. She did some Michael Jackson lift her leg shit. You know what I'm saying? And you're sitting there saying, oh, women's sports get scrutinized. First of all, if every women's sport did that shit, then they're going to get scrutinized. It's not because you're a woman, because you're a bozo doing some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Like, so, again, without being getting too much into it, because I'm going to conclude this, Rachel Gunn is a culture vulture, and so is her husband. So was the president of the damn Olympic Committee. And they all should be investigated and thrown off the bench and never be allowed to compete in those type of competitions ever. And that's coming from an unapologetic black man from America, African man born. I said it. I don't care who tries to cancel me. You can't cancel somebody you ain't support. So fuck you. And fuck all of those that infiltrate our culture and disrespect it by coming in here and making yourself look like a bozo and then trying to cry when people have an opinion on it. People have an opinion on everything. You ain't got to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? If you was truly authentic, you wouldn't even care what people say. But y'all come out here and push the narratives and do the crocodile tear shit. Well, I worked hard. No, you didn't. If anything, You destroyed other people's lives that deserve opportunities to get out of their impoverished situations by taking away from those people that deserve to be in the Olympics and get notoriety and get money and endorsements for being great at something. You're terrible at that shit, and then you sit there and cry because people didn't like it. How the fuck? That's like cooking food and it's bad as shit, and people judge it because it's bad, and then you sit there and crying because nobody likes your food. Well, you need to go back to the drawing board, get your grandmother to cook it, study some books, learn how to use seasoning, whatever the fuck. Jeez. Well, that's my time on it, man. This is A&B, African Man Born, on the Culture Speaks, a true hip-hop podcast for those who live it. Like, share, subscribe. All right? This is a YouTube podcast, YouTube and Facebook podcast. Not necessarily, not too much on Facebook, but YouTube. Go on there, African Man Born Media, and you can like, share, subscribe. I don't put too many episodes on Spotify. Certain episodes will be put on Spotify, and I'll start letting people know. But the first, I think, 7 episodes are on Spotify. You won't see 8 or 9 or 10 on Spotify. All right. So, but that's only if you have Spotify. Go on YouTube, check me out. All right. New album coming out. The G.O.D. Greatness Over Dominance. All right. November 9th. The release party will be announced within a week or two. All right. Peace.